Hi guys, how are you? I sure do miss seeing your faces. So today I want to go over EKG practice. This is what you will see for your Thursday, Friday assignment. You do not have to do the whole practice page. I'm going to do a couple with you. I want to go through some things to help you figure out some differences between the other video that I posted that was a nursing video versus the actual practice page that you'll see for Thursday and Friday. The nursing video is great, does a lot of good stuff, but there were just a couple things that were missing from that. So I wanted to make sure you knew exactly how to do the one that I had for you, and let you know that I miss you guys. And I'm gonna switch over to share my screen so I can use the dot camera and kind of show you what this is gonna look like. Okay, so here we have the EKG practice page. The EKG practice, you're asked 6 questions on EKG. And this is a 6-second strip like the previous video discussed. We typically standardize it as a 6-second strip, and he mentioned that as one of the ways we find heart rate specifically. You may see some that are not 6-second strips, so you always want to check first to make sure. To do that, you're going to count, and I just want to reiterate some things from that video that they pointed out on your page. So if we look closely, you see one giant box here. It is hard for me to do looking at a screen instead of the paper. But anyway, you have this giant box here, and you have these tiny little boxes inside, right? And so each tiny little box inside is 0.04 seconds, which makes the entire box 0.2 seconds. And so because it's 0.2 seconds, that means each of these is 0.2. So if we just strictly count 5, we get a full second. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have 1 second right about there. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 here, sorry, you get 2 seconds. And you just continue counting to make sure that you have 6 seconds. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, and then this would be 6 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have our 6-second strip. Also on this strip, I want to point out, he pointed it out as well in the other video, but I want to point out that, I'm going to zoom in. We have the P wave here, and he discussed that as being atrial depolarization. So that is when the action potential is reached by the 2 atriums, both at the same time. Then we get this little dip. This is our Q. We have our R. We have our S for the QRS complex. And then we have the T wave over here. And again, he discussed several of those things in the video about ventricular depolarization and so on. So now that we kind of know what it is we're looking at, we know it is a 6-second strip. We're going to look at finding these 6 features that you're asked to find. So we're going to find our heart rate first. I'm just going to go right here and write down some things about heart rate, how we find the heart rate. So for heart rate, there are actually 2 methods. He discussed the 2 methods. I am only concerned with the 1 method because it is the easiest method. And you should always have a 6-second strip, or you can extrapolate that data. If you have a 3-second strip, then you double it and you know you have 6 seconds. If it's regular, it should look the same. So for us, for our benefit, we're sticking with the 6-second strip, and we're going to use heart rate as strictly counting the number of QRS complexes. And then multiply that by 10. A little more here. So QRS complexes times 10. And if we go up, let me take a look. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's one way over here. So 6 times 10 gives us a 60 beats per minute, which is considered normal. This is a normal heart rate. In the normal range for the heart rate. Regular rhythm is our second step. For the regular rhythm, he used an index card trick, and it's a really nice trick. You might want to try that, to use the index card and lay it out on the R waves, but you can also do it by calculating. So to do that for rhythm, you use the R to R values, which vary. And so you're going to count the boxes between them, between R and R, and you're comparing differences. So if the number of differences are less than 0.06 seconds, the tiny boxes, or less than 1.5 big boxes, then it is a regular rhythm. And so if we do that up here, we have one R here, we have another R here. I'm just labeling all the R's right now. And then I count the big boxes in between. So I'm going to just go to the full ones. So I know I have a full one here. So 1, 2, 3, and about what, 7.5, maybe a little bit more. So we're going to do about 3.75. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4 here. 1, 2, 3, and again almost a 7.5, something like that. And then we get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 is our biggest, 4 is the next. 7 minus 4 is 3 boxes different. So we would say that this is not a regular heart rhythm because of that one wave there at the end that is greater than 1.5 boxes different. The rest of it is, so some parts of it are regular, and then for some reason there's something that occurs that throws it out of whack, makes it irregular. Next question, super easy. Are the P waves present? You take a look at it. Can you find P waves? Yes, 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 yes. There are P waves present. We say yes. Usually they do look, and I know in the video he discussed the shape of the P waves and the regularity of them. That is something that they do look for. PRI. So we're going to jump down to the next white space down here to write down PRI. P to R interval is what this is. So we measure this, scoot over, from the onset, the beginning of P, and we measure to the onset, beginning of the QRS complex. And we're counting again. This time though, we're counting small boxes. And for this, you are multiplying those by 0.04, so that's each small box per seconds. And so we're looking for a single value here, but it does depend on which wave you choose. You may actually see multiple. So if we go back up and take a look, I'm not going to use this one. You may use something like this, but since I wrote it, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to skip over to this one. And those might be slightly off. So I might get a 0.08, you might get a 0.12. And for that reason, I always write a range for these numbers. You will just write your one number. I'll just know when I look at my key, you're in that range, so you got it right, or you're out of range, so you missed something. So I'm going to go look at, I'm going to zoom in closer here. Q. I'm gonna look at this P wave, right? So onset of P, this is the highest peak. This is where it begins. So I want to take and put my pen right here. Again, hard to do because I'm not looking at the actual paper, I'm looking at the screen. Draw as straight as line as possible there. And then here's the Q, R, S. So onset of Q isn't the peak or the lowest point, it is right before that. So again, tiny little spot here. To something like that, right beside that peak or valley. And I'm going to count my dots or my spaces in between. 1, 2, 3, about 4, it looks like. 3.5, 4. So that times 0.04 is going to give us a 0.16. I'm going to go down here and I'm actually going to write 0.12 to 0.16 seconds because on this particular strip, if you did a different wave, you might get a 0.12, you might get the 0.16, you might get something in between. Some of them are a little bit different. And then go back down, we zoom out again. And we're gonna do our fourth step, which is the QRS interval. And for this one, we are counting boxes again. This time it is between the onset of Q and the end of S. And in this case, 1.5 to 3 boxes apart is normal. And your other paper or PowerPoint, I think, shows that as well, as far as normal ranges go. Okay, so I'm going to go right back to where I was. Zoom back in. I already had my onset of Q marked. Here's S. Here's the end of S. Put my pen there. Draw a straight line here. Count. Looks like I've got 1, 2. I'm reading that right. About 2 boxes different. So that's again times 0.04. So that's going to be 0.082. You could have gotten, depending on which one you did, a 0.12, as much as 0.12, which would be the 3 boxes different. So it does fall in that normal range of 1.5 to 3 boxes. So we're in the normal range. That is normal. And then the last thing, I think this is really the only part they didn't cover in the other video, is normal sinus rhythm. And to find that, we look back at all of these. Are a majority of these normal? If so, then we say this is a normal sinus rhythm. That's not rhythm of the beats or the waves. It's a little bit different, but we look at the whole thing. And the only thing that's really not is right here, the rhythm. So we say, yes, this is normal in terms of the sinus rhythm because a majority of them are normal. Okay, take a look at the next one. Just want to show you a couple things here. And then I'm going to tell you which ones I want you to do this week. So we take a look at this, and we're looking for heart rate. If we check it, you have just a little over 6 seconds. So you can stop it at that. I believe this is the last one, but you can stop it at that 6 seconds. You won't look anything past that. But these all do fall in the 6 second range. And so we would have a heart rate of 4 times 10 or 40 beats per minute, which is really low. That is a bradycardia, and then that's too low. And then regular rhythm, we want to compare our values again here across the top. And what you get with this, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 by the time you combine those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, again about 7 here. So yes, it is a regular rhythm this time, with less than 1.5 boxes different. So I'm going to write that in down here. And then when we look, do we have P waves? So there's definitely a P wave here. There is a P wave here. probably a P wave right here. A little hard to tell if it's a T or a P, but it's a little bit closer to this. But I believe we're starting to see a trend of not really getting too many T's. These are mostly P waves. We get a T here for the first time, and then we've got a really close P. So there are P waves present. Are they regular and normal, or alike? Not as much, but they're still present. And then when we get to the PRI, remember the PRI, and I'm going to go find this guy here, is the onset of P, so a little closer, right about there, and then onset of Q. I don't really have a Q. There's no real distinguishing Q here. So because I can't find a Q, I can't measure the PRI. So we say not measurable. And again, because I don't have a Q, I can't measure the QRS, so not measurable. And normal, well, not measurable, probably not normal. Too low for a blood BPM up here, heart rate. And so because there's several things that are not normal, we would say no, that this is not a normal sinus rhythm. Okay, so I kind of wanted you to see a different example, one that maybe you couldn't find, because you may run across examples that you can't find everything in that wave, and so you have to sometimes just go with what you are given in that instance. Here's what I need. Okay, the next thing is, which ones do you need to do? Now this is a CAMI attachment, a little bit different in how you get to this file in your Canvas. It should open up when you click on the link. It should open up in CAMI. CAMI allows you to edit or annotate a PDF document, so you can practice what I just did for those first two if you want. But as far as what I want you to do, I'd like for you to do this one, 13 through 18. So this one here, which would be, I think, page 2, 13 through 18, to actually kind of turn back into me. I want you to do on the next page, this one here, 37 through 42. And on the last page, so you're really only doing 3 of these. You can do as many as you want, but these are the ones I want to see. 49 to 54. Those are the 3 that I actually want to see you practice with. And it is something that if we were in the classroom, we would spend a lot more time on. It is potentially not the most important thing that we would do, which is why I'm not spending as much time on it with you. But I do have some of you that may be taking that certification course at the Kate Center on EKGs. And so I want to make sure that you have an option and you have seen this before, and that maybe you're a little bit more prepared in the event that you are going to end up in one of those classes. Sorry for the shuffling of papers. I have one I wanted to make sure didn't miss. Yes. Okay, so we're good. I'm going to stop sharing screen for just a minute. So I'll be in Zoom, in the Zoom room link tomorrow on Wednesday from 1 to 2. If this is something that you're not understanding or have questions about or can't find, I'll also be back on Thursday from 1 to 2 again. So if you have questions or need help and you can't quite figure it out, there's a lot of resources for you. Please email me or visit me in Zoom so I can show it to you live if we have to, whatever it is that you need me to do for this. I know this isn't easy for some of you potentially, but I think it's beneficial for those of you that might need it in the future. And lots of resources to go with that. Please, please, please let me know if you need anything, if you have questions, if you just want to say hi. I would like to see you. Miss you guys. Have a great week.